Hello everyone and welcome to another Sunday afternoon chat on a cold, that's right, I said cold, chilly Sunday afternoon here in southern Oklahoma. I actually just pulled over on the side of the road, a beautiful spot right here I've got a lot of cows grazing in the background. You know what Grandma Lizzie always said, when the cows are up feeding, you need to be fishing. Well, I'm not fishing. I'm heading over to Eufaula, Oklahoma. Lucky Strike is having a big tournament over there today. I think it's a Lucky Strike tournament. I don't know if you can only fish with Lucky Strike rules or what. I don't know really what it is. But on Lake Eufaula, and they've had a pretty tough day to fish because they've had a great day because of cloud cover. But it's in the 50s and 60s, was in the 40s, I think, over there this morning. The wind is blowing, as you can see, and the lake is high and muddy, I believe. You know, it's gonna, I don't know what they're gonna catch. We're gonna find out after we get over there. I'm anxious to go over there. I told them I'd come over and be there during the weigh-in today. So we came directly from church. We stopped over in Ada, Oklahoma, where I got a new lens put on my, one of those wet lenses, 50 some odd dollars for a little liquid on your deal at the AT&T store. A young man had helped me there, was a fisherman, and wanted to talk fishing, which is great. I've always wanted to talk fishing, you know that. And but I scratched this thing up the other day. My tripod blew over, and my lens, I couldn't hardly see through it. So it's really nice. Looks really good right there now, except I'm looking at myself. That's not always, that's something not necessarily I want to look at. But we're going to be over at Eufaula. We came directly from church, stopped at Ada, and they were so kind in there at that AT&T store. That's where I bought, I think maybe this iPhone 13, I don't know if it came from there in Tahlequah. I think my 12 might have come from there, and the 13 come from Tahlequah and Ada. I don't know, the AT&T store, but they were really nice. And it's very, very difficult to find a place in this day and time where you can take your wife to the bathroom if she's in a wheelchair. It's strange to me that they're letting little 12 and 13 and 14, 15-year-old boys go to the girls' bathrooms in high schools, which, golly, if I'd ever done that, man, oh man, I'd have got licks every day for a week. And we got licks, that's right, pow, 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 paddle on your bottom, back when I was in high school. And I got a few of those licks, mostly for getting in little things I shouldn't have got into. But anyway, and yet in today's time, you can't find a place where you can take your wife to the bathroom. You know, can't really take her in the girls' restroom, can't take her in the men's restroom, unless you can go in there and lock the door. And where you can wait and lock the door, you can go. But it's very difficult to find a place to take her. And of course, we'd gone to church this morning, so she really needed to go to the bathroom. And they were very, very nice in the AT&T store, letting us go back in the back and go in their bathroom. And or we could lock the door. It was big. I could get her out of the wheelchair and take her to the bathroom well. So that was great. So just a little, you know, things that happen. You know, you don't really think about those type things if you're not in a wheelchair, if you don't have that problem arise. But this country's done a lot to take care of and make it better for people that have to live some of their lives or all of their lives in a wheelchair. But that's one problem that hasn't really been solved. That hasn't been solved at all, because I'm fighting that problem. I fight it all the time. And Chris said, I need to go to the bathroom when we left the church. And I said, well, I don't know where I'm going to find a place. And so couldn't find a place in Sulphur. I actually went all the way to Ada and stopped at that AT&T store. We still hadn't found any place to eat yet. We drove by a few places, but by the time we got to the AT&T store, and there was about 100 cars in line at McDonald's. And so... Anyway, that's how our Sunday afternoon is going. But listen, I want to give a big shout out to the Oklahoma Sooner girls softball team. We're listening to that game. Can't be at that game because we're going to be at the tournament. But we're listening to that game, that softball game, on the radio. And Oklahoma has scored 9 runs in the top of the first inning. 9 runs in the top of the first inning, and they still had a couple runners on when I decided to jump out and get on the side of the road. And I'm really off the side of the road about 30, 40 yards, so I'm not really in any danger at all here. Beautiful spot where I pulled into, and old home place, looks like. They got a barn over there is all they got now, but it's an old home place. And but they've scored 9 runs in the top of the 9th inning. Top of the first inning. They've got a couple runners on. We're still batting when I got out of the car, so I don't know if 9's all they got. But congratulations to what certainly should be a regional championship win for the Oklahoma Sooners girls softball team. Our baseball team, coached by Skip Johnson, one of my fishing buddies, won 2 out of 3 at number 5 Texas Tech this week. That's Pat Turner's school. That's where Pat Turner went to college and graduated from, was Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is number 5 in the nation. Oklahoma went in there and beat them 2 out of 3. They had to sweep the 3 games in order to get a share of the Big 12 championship. They ended up tied for second. with Texas Tech, as a matter of fact, and Oklahoma State, three-way tie for second place. And so congratulations to Skip Johnson, Oklahoma baseball team. We scored a lot of runs, but we were a little tough at the tail end of our pitching. Toward you get down 7th, 8th, 9th inning, we lost quite a few games doing that, but boy, we can hit the ball. We can hit the ball. So baseball season, softball season in full bloom right now. My Dodgers have won 7 in a row, and are in first place. So we're enjoying the sports. Chris loves sports just as much as I do. And that's one of the things she's been able to enjoy is all of these softball games, baseball games, Oklahoma football, all of the things that we are involved with, Oklahoma basketball. We have taken her to some of the games. She got to go to some of the games, football games, even in her wheelchair. Joe Castiglione, the athletic director of Oklahoma, took care of us there. So anyway, it's been a good week this past week. I only got to fish one day. The guy at the AT&T store said, "Have you been catching any, Jimmy?" And I said, "I only got to fish one day." And he said, "Oh my gosh, it's terrible." I said, "Yes, it is." Fished one day on Lake Tenkiller, caught about 20 bass. We did a segment for next year's television show. Show's still running, by the way, on ESPN2 every Saturday mornings at 7:30. Runs through the end of June. We don't know if they're going to carry us the rest of the year or not. Send them a letter and tell them they need to keep us on the rest of the year. We will be on the Pursuit channel the rest of the year. We'll be on the World Fishing Network, WFN. We'll be on the Heartland Network. We'll be on AT&T Sportsnet Southwest. We'll be on all those networks the rest of the year. So Jimmy Houston Outdoors will be on quite a bit the rest of the year. But that's the only day I got to fish. The lake is 23 feet high. But here's the deal. It was 32 feet high. Or maybe it's 21 feet. Anyway, it had gone down 9 feet. Maybe it's been 31, gone down to 22. It's gone down 9 feet. And the fish have actually vacated the shallow water. They were catching them up in that high water. But it's gone down about 6 or 8 or 10 inches every day, and it's gone down to now it's only 22 feet high. And we actually ended up, this is crazy, we actually ended up catching most of our bass out from under boat docks. Now this is a pattern that the largemouth bass and smallmouth bass, Kentucky bass, this is the pattern that the fish will do after they get through spawning. And the bass have already spawned, and so they'll go out and they suspend under those boat docks. And we actually got them throwing a red man spinnerbait underneath those boat docks. I mean, that was crazy. But and we didn't catch, but I think I had 3 overs. It's got to be 13 to 16. The biggest was about 18 inches. So it wasn't a spectacular day, but it was a fun day, and we had a lot of fun and caught, you know, I don't know, I didn't count them, 18 or 20 fish. So it wasn't a total bomb out, but it wasn't near as successful as I thought it might be because I was really wanting to catch those fish up in those flooded bushes. But they're not in them. They're not in them. Now, once we get down to the last little bit of them, they might be in those flooded bushes, but they're just simply not there right now. So it's the only day I got to fish. We got Memorial Day weekend coming this next weekend. I got lots of friends coming to the ranch. We got a lot of people coming to the ranch. Ross and Cagle and Steve, his brother Steve Cagle, are coming up from Louisiana, bringing crawfish up. We'll put a couple thousand pounds. I think we've cut back to 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds in the lakes for the fish, and they're doing really well in there. We got a good population in both lakes of crawfish. We'll cook about 5 or 6 sacks. We've got a lot of our friends and neighbors and family from around the ranch there that are going to be over and for that big crawfish boil on. We'll have that on Saturday night. But it's just going to be a fun weekend where everybody's going to do a lot of fishing, I know, and we're going to do a lot of eating, I know. We got those Cajuns. I got in trouble, I think, for calling them coon asses because somebody said that was racist. Can I tell you that is not a racist word? It's like redneck. Those folks in South Louisiana, all over Louisiana, they're proud of that. They are proud of that word. I promise you. I got so many friends down there. But I think we got a post or something pulled down off of Twitter for saying that. So we don't know what all's going to happen, but at any rate, you know, all my Cajun buddies, they're from Mr. Twitter. My Cajun buddies are going to be up there. Larry Sissel's coming down from Tulsa to be there that weekend. We'll have a lot of friends over. I think Joe Arms is coming. Don't know if I've invited Daniel in Houston and his family. I hadn't heard back from them, and Basil Savage and his Basil Jr. and Clay, and we'll have a good bunch there, and we will be doing a video on that crawfish bowl. We do it every year, Memorial Day weekend, but it's always fun to watch those crawfish. It's always just absolutely a fantastic, greatest meal of the whole year, I think. So we'll be doing that. We'll be doing it in my own crawfish boiler. They gave me a crawfish boiler, and so we'll be doing it in my own boiler this year, so that'll be an awful lot of fun. I did want to mention where I'm going to be coming up real soon. Those of you that are going over to the big Walmart, I think they called a shareholders meeting or an associates meeting or something at the fairgrounds in Bentonville, Arkansas. I'll be going over there on Tuesday, the 30th, I guess it is, and I'll be there Wednesday and Thursday for that event. So if y'all are, that is a private event for Walmart people only, but if you're one of the lucky several thousand that get to go to that event, be sure to come by. I'll have my Shell Rotella Ranger 521L there on display. We'll be signing autographs, probably giving away some things, and just having a great time. So if you're fortunate enough to get to go to that associates meeting, be sure and come by and visit us there in the Shell Rotella booth. That's right, I'll have my Shell Rotella boat there. I'll also have my Shell Rotella boat on June 10, I think 9, 10, 11, or 10, 11, 12. I'm not sure which, but Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Super Rigs. That's right, the Super Rig Show in Branson, Missouri. Branson, Missouri. Fantastic place for the Super Rig Show. They move that around all over the nation. That's a big rig show. It's a big rig show, trucker show. But I will have my boat there and my truck at the Super Rig Show on those 3 days. We'll be giving fishing seminars, fishing talks. We'll have books there that you can buy. We'll be just having a great time. It's a great show, and I think it is at Branson Landing. I know it's at Branson Landing. I think basically it's in the parking lot of the Bass Pro Shop there. So you can come to Super Rigs and buy you some fishing baits, rods, and reels at the same time. So that'll be a real good deal. June 9, 10, 11. Father's Day, I'll be at the Ray of Hope Church in Duncan, Oklahoma. Be at the 8:30 service, the 10:30 service, and also we'll be there after service. We'll be there, and we're going to have a big fishing men's event for Father's Day. So a great treat for your father would be to take him to Duncan, to the Ray of Hope Church, for one or both of those services, and be there. My buddy Steve Perkins will have his boat on display. We're going to make that a big fishing afternoon there. So it's just a great thing for Father's Day. Speaking of Father's Day, if you want to get our Catch a Better Life book, you can get it from us. You can get it at Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, Hobby Lobby, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, all of those places, plus several more. If you wanted autographs, what a wonderful gift for Father's Day. Father's Day, June 19th. A couple days later, June 21, we'll be down at the Turning Point at Calvary Church in San Augustine, Florida. Be there for a big beast feast that Tuesday evening, the 21st of June. There's only 600 tickets available. I'm sure not many are left, if any are left right now. So you got to get your tickets to that event. It's a wonderful event. They have it every year, and it's just going to be absolutely fantastic. That's what we got planning upcoming here. It's time to go fishing right now. The fish are really, the bass, like I said, are move out. They're suspending on stuff. They're suspending in treetops. They're spinning under boat docks, spinning out on the points. You can catch those fish on topwater baits, catch them spinner baits, jerk baits. Just remember, after they get through spawning, they cannot go deep for a couple of weeks. So they're going to be up in 5, 6, 7 foot of water, suspending, a lot of times over deeper water. Some of those fish we was catching under boat docks were over 30, 40, 50 feet of water. I mean, those boat docks, of course, they're over a lot of deep water because the lake, like it was 21 feet high when I fished it last Wednesday. So get out and fish in around structure that is over 15 or 20 or more feet of water, but the fish are going to be up 5 or 6 foot of the top, most of them. So catfishing is beginning to pick up all over the country. You guys that want to get out there and catch catfish, they're starting to bite just about everywhere. So fishing is really good right now. This weather's going to warm up. We are actually forecast 2 or 3 inches of rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I'm praying for that big time. I want to close this thing by talking about Chris just for a second. Chris finished her 10 NAD treatments, and honestly, we can't tell much difference. We were supposed to have some results relatively quickly, maybe even during the 10 treatments, things would start getting better. So far, we can't tell anything happening. But I'm still trusting God. I'm still believing that the stem cells that we did in Mexico back several months ago, the 1,000 units NAD, I'm believing those are going to help also. And I'm believing and I'm knowing that God is healing Chris. God is healing Chris as I speak. And so we'll keep you posted on that. We've got a video kind of showing some of that stuff that we'll get up here pretty soon. We still have no babies at the ranch. We checked this morning before we went to church. There's no babies. 2 or 3 of the does were around in the yard this morning. The wild does, still big old pooching bellies, and so that's it. The other thing I want to point out and just mention here right at the end of this video is if you're doing a job that you've been doing for a long time, like I've been fishing for a living ever since not too long after I got out of college. and started fishing national tournaments actually when I was a senior in college. So how do you keep fired up about what you've been doing if you've been doing it day after day after day for year after year after year? Now, I know a lot of you say, well, it's easy to stay fired up if you're fishing for a living. Well, can I tell you, there's a lot of things that goes on in this business, like getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to catch a 6 o'clock airplane in Oklahoma City and flying halfway across the country and doing an appearance that night and getting back on the airplane that night, or getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and flying somewhere else and going, you know, days with just 2 or 3 hours sleep a night. There's a lot of things about this business that's pretty grueling also. But can I tell you, the big deal is you've got to focus on the positive aspects about whatever you're doing. Forget about the negative. Whatever negative it is, just get it out of your mind, fight it out of your mind, get rid of it. Concentrate on the positive. You got a problem in whatever you're doing for a living right now, don't concentrate on that problem. Concentrate on the problem solver, which is God. Concentrate on the problem solver. Turn that problem over to God, give it to Him, and then let go of it. Let go of it. And then think about some of the good things that's happening on your job. Think about the fact that you do have a job. Think about the fact that you're feeding your family with that job. Think about the fact that you got a good paycheck that's coming in every week. Whatever that paycheck may be, obviously must be pretty good, or you'd be doing something else, because there's a lot of jobs you can be doing that now. But the key to having success in anything you're doing, and to be able to do it day after day after day, and I don't care if you're in a factory up there in Detroit somewhere putting a tire on a Ram truck every day, and you say, well, this is all I'm doing, is putting a truck on a Ram truck day after day after day. But I know they got great benefits there, and I know you're putting them on a great truck. And concentrate on all of the great things that's happening. It's that old deal about counting your blessings. Think about the good. Run the bad stuff out of your mind. You know what causes the bad stuff to get in your mind? The devil. The devil causes that. Satan is trying to put bad things in your mind. Well, just run that devil off and think about all the good things. Guys and girls, it's cool here in Oklahoma right now, but it's going to warm up. It's going to warm up just the next few days. I hope you have a warm, big heart, because I sure do love you.